Chapter 32 Rivers and Black Bears. There are babies, I told Annie, a mate and four babies. I found their den. She got up from the creek bank and said, Really? Let's go. I have to check something first. Remember when I told you I had more to tell you? I have to tell you that. Annie frowned because I was frowning. She followed me as we walked to the woods, and I told her all about Marvin's scat, how I'd found it, how it dug pits in the soil, and how it might be a bigger problem than I'd thought. It smells horrible, she said. We weren't even to Marvin's bathroom yet. My nose had gotten used to it, maybe. Maybe it will melt the whole world. Annie laughed at that. She said, I don't think anything can melt the whole world. I mean, look at atom bombs and stuff like that. If the world lived through those, then the world can live with a little poop. It melted those kids' sneakers and their floors. So it's a weird kind of crazy poop or something. It can't melt rock. Rock is older than all of us, she said. Look at this one. Just found it in the creek. 500 million years old. 500 million. When we got to the pits, they had grown to nearly double. I mean, wow. The scat had been frisbee sized. The pits, when I saw them last, were twice that width and 6 inches deep. Now they were as wide as a hula hoop and a foot deep, and the dead patches of grass were 3 feet in diameter. My measurement rocks were there, though, so that was good. Annie said, Oh, so this is what melted the sneakers. I nodded. I don't think you should worry about it, she said. It's not hurting the rocks. Look at how deep they are. It hasn't rained for a while. Maybe we could water them? I don't know, I said. I stood there and stared. Marvin's scat wasn't visible anymore. Maybe the pits would stop growing. I took a few rocks from around the area and put them on the perimeter of the biggest pit and looked at Annie. She said, Can we go down and see him now? I want to take pictures. I didn't know what to think of that. I wasn't sure I wanted Annie to be the one who took the first pictures of Marvin. I trusted her, but I wanted the pictures to myself the same as I'd wanted Marvin to myself before I told her about him. Let's go, I said. We'll take the easy way. I walked her to the edge of Phase 3, and we jogged on the road for about a minute until we found the path to the riverbank. I could tell Annie was scared to be so close to the river. I understood it, because Annie wasn't just doing something dangerous. She was doing something dangerous while she was already breaking the rules. The river still seemed huge enough to eat us both and never tell anyone. That's what rivers do sometimes. Did you hear that? I asked. The ticking noise? It's Marvin talking. He knows we're here. As we walked to Marvin's den, she kept her eyes on the path and didn't look out to the river anymore. We walked around the brush Marvin had built up on the path, and then I showed Annie where to go. She got on her knees and leaned her head into the den. Hello, she said. Look at you all. She was beaming. Aren't they cute? I asked. So fuzzy. Not slimy yet like he is. And she's beautiful, she said. She pulled her head out of the den's opening and looked at me. Wow, Ob, this is really something, you know? I smiled. She smiled. She said, Have you named the rest of them yet? Not yet. I just found them. Mrs. Marvin needs a special name. She poked her head back into the den. And then the worst thing happened. Her phone rang. It was a horrible ringtone that sounded like a dog barking. She pulled out of the den, startled. She hurled herself up onto the higher bank, sat down, and finally got the phone out of her zipped pocket. But she didn't answer it at first. It kept barking. It's my mom, she said. Marvin started making a howling noise, same as the one he made the night he returned my flashlight, but a little quieter. The barking ringtone was scaring him. Answer it. But that's all Annie said to me. Her face said the rest. Hello? She said into the phone. Her face dropped even further. It was at sea level. I didn't hear what her mom was saying, but whatever it wasn't good. I wasn't on a dangerous road, she said. Her mom said more stuff. I'm down at Ob's house. I'm safe, she said. Her mom said more stuff. I was going to come home before 5, she said. Her mom said a lot more stuff until she hung up. Annie said, Crap. We've got to get to your house in less than 3 minutes. Marvin had stopped howling. Annie had forgotten about taking pictures or naming Mrs. Marvin. She just rushed back down the path on the riverbank. I don't think she was even scared of the river anymore. I was. Moving that fast, one slip would put us into the water. By the time we got over the creek and back to my house, Annie's mom's car was already in the driveway. My mom was out talking to her mom. We stopped at the edge of the wild patch and both of us took a deep, deep breath. I'm sorry, I said. I wasn't sure what I was sorry for. Don't be. I should be allowed out of my own yard, Obe. You showed me that. You're fearless, daring, and brave, Annie Bell. She looked at me funny at first and then smiled. We walked to our respective mothers, and Annie's mom didn't smile. You said you were at Obe's house. Where were you really? I looked at Mom and she didn't smile either. We were at the creek, I said. It's really beautiful, Annie said. Look at the rocks I got. She pulled a few rocks from her pocket. Her mom still didn't smile. Obe spends a lot of time at the creek, Mom said. Annie knows the rules, Annie's mom said. The rules do not include going to a creek with a boy. Obe isn't a boy, Annie stuttered. I mean, he's a boy, but he's my friend. Annie's mom looked right in my eyes. Friends don't take friends places that are dangerous. I said, the creek isn't dangerous. It's not even that deep. I'll show you if you want. By this time, Annie's mom had said a few words to Mom in that low mom tone and turned toward her car. See you later, Annie, I said. Bye, thanks for today. It was fun, she said, glaring at her mother. Her mom looked back at me and gave me a look only my mom should be allowed to give me. I didn't get it. Her mom liked me just fine the weekend before. I ate snickerdoodles and we played. What was so dangerous about leaving your own yard? Mom and I went inside. You guys really were by the creek, right? Mom asked. She motioned for me to sit on the sofa. Yeah, Annie collects rocks, but they don't let her out of her yard. Not at all. No, I mean, they go places together and stuff, but Annie isn't allowed to go anywhere. Mom stayed quiet. How is she supposed to find cool rocks in her own backyard? I guess she could dig, Mom said. That's not the point. Mom put on her very serious face. Listen, Obe, I need to talk to you about going to the creek for the next few weeks. There's something dangerous going on. The police are looking into it, but for now we need you to stay closer to home. Something dangerous? Was that guy in the pickup truck a murderer or something? What guy? I saw him twice. He said he was looking for kids with paintballs or something. Said they were hurting the houses or bulldozers. You talked to him? Yeah. He said he worked at the construction site. I don't know. He told me to keep my eyes open for anyone roaming around phase 3. She shook her head. You know not to talk to strange people. He even told me his name was Doug. I don't think a guy who wanted to hurt me would tell me his name, I said. She sat there thoughtful for a while. I moved to get up, but she told me to stay sitting. The police think there's someone vandalizing the new development. First the melting sneakers, and now the strange man, and there's an animal. They think it might be a black bear, she said. I don't want you near the creek for a while. Adults sure knew how to make up wild stories. I wanted to tell her that the animal wasn't a bear. I wanted to walk her down to the river and show her Marvin and his family. She'd have to believe it if she saw it, but I could tell she wasn't in the mood to believe anything. So I have to stay in the backyard too? I asked. For now. I don't think the Doug guy is dangerous. He seemed nice, and I don't think there's a black bear. I've seen tracks. And you're sure you don't know anything about who's hurting people's property? She asked. I'm sure, she sighed. There's a meeting tonight at the fire company. Some of the families around here want the game warden to come in and find the bear. Other families want the police to arrest whoever is doing stuff to their houses. I don't know. I was thinking about going, but your dad says I should stay away. She looked kind of sad when she said that. The fire company was just across the river. It was built on Devlin land back in the 1970s. She'd always joked that it was the Devlin Fire Company. I'll go with you. It's for adults. Well, you're the only adult Devlin around, so I think you should go. None of this would be happening if they didn't come and wreck the field in the first place, I said. And anyway, Dad can't tell you what to do. Mom's cell phone rang and she answered it and handed it to me. It was Annie. I can't come over anymore, and I'm sorry if I got you in trouble. I'm sorry too, I said. I hope you like the rocks you got from the creek, I said. 100 years ago, people talked in code all the time. I love the rocks. I can't wait to get more. See you on Monday. Seat 12, I said. I handed the phone back to Mom. She listened to see if Annie's mom was going to come on the line, but then she hung up when no one was there. Do you have homework? She asked. For once, I didn't lie about math homework. Everything was too serious. A math worksheet, reading, and some science stuff. I'm going to make some calls, she said. You go do that in your room, okay? I said okay and took my backpack to my room. But once I got there, I didn't do homework. I worried about everything because I knew there was no black bear. I knew there was no vandal. And if they were bringing in the game warden and the police, I knew I had to tell someone else about Marvin as soon as possible. Because if I didn't, Marvin would end up dead. I ran through a list of possible adults I could tell. Mom and dad were out because they were mom and dad. And even though as parents go they were okay, I didn't want to drag them into this mess. Annie's parents were out. Tommy's parents were out. The only person I could think of to tell was Miss G, but I needed proof.